About this. Joining us via Skype from back in Phoenix, which is no small feat considering the fact he was testifying yesterday on Capitol Hill. He's the president and founder of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy, Dr. Zuhdi Jasser. He's also author of the book, A Battle for the Soul of Islam, and American Muslims, Patriots' Fight to Save His Faith. For purposes of full disclosure, he's my personal physician, and without going into too many privacy areas, Zuhdi, my voice is coming back, but I'm going to rely on my partner, John Bachman, for a couple of these questions. Fair enough?
Anytime. Thanks, JD, for having me.
Happy to step in here. Doctor, real quickly, in a statement, Iraq's prime minister condemned the Islamic State extremist group's actions targeting Christians in the territory that it now controls. We've seen ISIS using the Arabic letter for N to notify Christians, non-believers in those houses. And this is what else is being said. Quote, "What is being done by the Daesh terrorist gang against our Christian citizens in the Nevada province and their aggression against churches in houses of worship and areas under their control reveals beyond any doubt the extremist channel, criminal and terrorist organizations of this group." What do you make about what's currently playing out and the just overall aggressive nature what we're seeing now, more aggressive than we've seen in the past with these ISIS militants in Iraq?
Well, I have to tell you, we've been trying to shout from the rooftops for the last number of years about the problems Iraqi Christians have been evacuating for many years. And Maliki, I'm sorry if I don't believe a lot of what he says. He's become a client state of Iran, which is probably one of the most offensive states in the world for Christians to live, and has been for many years. And yes, ISIS is a lot more radicalized against Christians than the Maliki government is, but the Maliki government has not overseen a necessarily hospitable place for churches and Christians to exist. The numbers of Christians has decreased orders of magnitude since the dictator and ruthless dictator Saddam Hussein left. So there's a problem there. They've been listed on our commission's list of countries of particular concern for a number of years. And ISIS came out of Syria. Syria is it's a byproduct of the problems in the revolution in Syria, and they are imposing a radicalized version of Sharia law, which they will enact a genocide by doctrine and by Sharia. And this is not unique just to Iraq. I hope people take this as a teaching moment that there is not a coincidence that we see churches burned in Pakistan. We see Boko Haram taking girls in Nigeria, trying to convert them to Christianity. We see the Sudanese case that I testified yesterday in Congress about, Meriam Ibrahim, who, thank God, this morning was now taken out of there and now was in Italy visiting with the Pope and is free because of a lot of the work of the international attention. All of these are symptoms of a deeper problem, which is the incompatibility of the Islamic State and Sharia law with freedom and liberty, and the need for Muslims to understand that these symptoms are part of a deeper disease, that the gateway drug to this radicalism is political Islam and the supremacism of Islamism.
Well, Zuhdi, as you mentioned this, and since you were on the Hill testifying about the case of Meriam Ibrahim, what do you think happened there? We got a couple of minutes left. I'd like to focus on this. Was it, in fact, the scrutiny from the United States Congress, in part the hearings yesterday, that led to her subsequent freedom from the Sudan? What do you think happened in this situation?
I really think so. I think that Chairman Smith on the Subcommittee of Foreign Affairs really had a big role in bringing the attention. We were going to have a hearing in June, and it was canceled last minute, and all of a sudden the charges were dropped, and then she was all of a sudden unable to leave, and that's what brought the second stage, where the death charges of punishment of death for apostasy were dropped, but then she couldn't leave, and we knew she wasn't safe there. So the next step was to have, he said, well, we're going to have another hearing. And then we had our hearing yesterday, and she was finally let go. So there's no doubt congressional action by Chairman Smith, Congressman Meadows, and others really did yeoman's work to bring international attention to this, and our commission statements. And the White House finally woke up, and the State Department actually provided safe haven, and they really did do things finally that brought about her release.
Well, that is a hopeful sign, Dr. Zuhdi Jasser. We appreciate you Skyping in from Phoenix as you're prepared to see patients and start a full day's work following that whirlwind trip to Washington yesterday. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, JD. Appreciate you.
From the file, now it can be told, Zuhdi was a naval doctor assigned to the House clinic. And he became my doctor there and then took over his dad's practice in Phoenix, so he became my personal physician. But he has staked out a position that is a very courageous one within the Islamic community, saying, here are American values, and here's the reform that needs to take place in my faith. So,
absolutely, and more folks who are Muslims need to stand up and say exactly what he's saying.